Chelsea Football Club had a late offer for Mudryk and apparently they've rejected it. I'm going to tell you from who and why I think Chelsea rejected the deal. Then we've got Petr Cech sitting on Sky Sports next to Jamie Carragher looking all nice and healthy and saying he believes Chelsea are going to win the league potentially in the next 2 years. We're going to discuss his comments. We've got Mauricio Pochettino coming out straight after the game when Gallagher had a lovely game and saying Gallagher told him a little secret and he's saying it out loud now for the rest of the world. And finally, Pape Daoung. So he's a free agent that's training with Chelsea and there's been a lot of controversy about him. Let's break it down. Let's get into the news. It's a quick one today. Hit the like button. We're aiming for 150 new subscribers if you guys can do that. So get subscribing and 1,000 likes as per usual. Alright, the most interesting news, we're going to start off the back with that because Mudryk is an individual that has joined Chelsea for £63 million and not £100 million as everybody loves to say, you know, because inflating value, like I call it Chelsea tax. But we signed Mudryk for £63 million with add-ons that could take it up to £80 million if we win the Champions League and we win the Premier League with him in the squad in the near future. Let's be honest, at this moment in time, it's not looking very likely, so 63 million is what we're going to call it. Misha didn't have a good start at Chelsea Football Club. I think he came in, Graham Potter literally brought him into the squad, he looked great, then all of a sudden benched him and it's been topsy-turvy since then, even under Pochettino, just purely inconsistent. Why has it not worked out? Well, I've got my theories and one of them is the guy at this moment in time just isn't that good. Like he's got a lot of raw talent, really talented, really quick. All the bits are there for him to be a marvellous player, but he just needs to play and develop. And at this moment in time, he's not Chelsea caliber. However, it looks like Bayern Munich believe he is. Bayern Munich made a late inquiry to take the kid on loan and the plan would have been to insert a little option in there and sign him if he smashed it over there. And for me, this is very interesting because Misha's loan, right, would have been an opportunity just like for Callum Hudson-Odoi when Hudson-Odoi was really touted highly by another club when he was at Chelsea before he signed the deal. But Chelsea kept him in-house. I really hope Chelsea have learned from that mistake in the sense that if you're keeping the individual, make sure you give him a development plan because for me right now it's damning. Raheem Sterling's ahead of him, Noni Madueke's ahead of him, Christopher Nkunku's ahead of him, Cole Palmer's ahead of him, Nicholas Jackson out of position is ahead of him. That puts him a 6th choice winger at this moment in time. That is extremely worrying when we paid £63 million. He's sitting on the bench, he's not developing, he's not keeping his fitness, and at this moment in time I don't know whether Mudryk will even be a Chelsea player in the next 18 months. Like, it's going to be impossible to get him off the books. So it's like as if he's going to be rotting away. But he needs to play. It's really annoying. Petr Cech is not only a legend of Chelsea Football Club and arguably the greatest ever goalkeeper to wear a Chelsea jersey. I think Thibaut Courtois would most probably say he was better than him. For me, I go with Petr Cech every single time. I love the guy. He will always be my favourite keeper that Chelsea have, regardless who we get in the near future. But in the reality is, he was a very good sporting director for Chelsea and him and Marina, I think, had a very good partnership. When Todd Bowley came in, Petr Cech confirmed that he just did, after a meeting with him, he decided he was going to move on. I'm guessing this had something to do with the fact that Marina was leaving and Bruce Buck was leaving and he just felt that the organisation up there was just going to be very different and he had to move on and just do something different. However, he's been on a little media tour and it looks like he's going to be going on the Obi-Wan podcast, John Obi Mikel's podcast. But before that, he's gone on to Sky Sports and he was sitting there and he was one of the pundits for the Chelsea game. What was very interesting to see is the way he spoke about Chelsea. You can really tell he loves the club. You can really tell that he's got aspirations for the club to be big in the future. But with these ex-pros, they're fans. Like, their reality is they're fans like us. They are going to hype the club up in public, especially with the possibility of them one day working for the club. So you're not going to get his honest opinion. So when he says he expects Chelsea to be top 4 next year challenging, and the year after challenging for the league, I take that with a pinch of salt. Because what we've seen so far, yes, we've got 4 wins in our last 6 in the Premier League, but 2 of them against Crystal Palace, one's against Luton and the other one's against Fulham. It's not like we're beating world beaters. The next 6 are the ones that we need to keep an eye on. And it's the ones that are going to tell us where we're going to finish this year. Because we could catch Manchester United and could get 6th place. And then that's a Europa League spot. Or potentially, who knows, maybe Aston Villa. But we're getting way too ahead of ourselves. One game at a time. So it was just very interesting to see what Petr Cech's saying. Realistically, I think he's being very optimistic. I think he's being kind to us. To say Chelsea can win the league in the next 2 years with Mauricio Pochettino, I highly doubt it. Maybe if you sack him in the summer and bring in someone else who can just take the squad and build on the work Pochettino has done with adding 1 or 2 existing layers of like 24 and 25-year-olds ready to contribute now, then we might be in a conversation. But otherwise, I'm a bit hesitant at this moment in time to just jump on the wave and say, you know what, we're going to win the league. Mauricio Pochettino loves Conor Gallagher. I definitely believe if you check his birth certificate, it's Conor Pochettino because of the way he talks about him. We adores him. He's the son he never had, like long lost son. Because at this moment in time, it's very interesting to see how Conor's position in the squad is basically undroppable. He is the starter. He's numero uno in every single way, right? In my opinion, he's ahead of Caicedo and Enzo when it comes to the gaffer. The gaffer thinks he's the better player. The gaffer will play him no matter what. If you ask Pochettino tomorrow, one player that gets untouchable, he will be fit for the remainder of the season, pick one. I reckon Gallagher is up there in the top 3 names that he's going to say. Like out the back, I think that is the name that he's going to say because he values him that highly. So when Pochettino comes out after the press conference after the win yesterday and says Gallagher has told me he wants to stay at Chelsea and wants to sign a new deal, Lord knows we know what he's doing. The reality is he's coming out of the back and he's trying to back the player. He wants to keep hold of his player. We know that if it was up to Pochettino, he'd be re-signing. The problem is, and like I've explained on numerous occasions, this is a situation for Chelsea and Gallagher's camp to deal with. Because you need to understand, the way contracts are done, and in all walks of life, the pay rise that you get at work isn't for what you've done. It's for what you're going to do for the company. It's for what you're going to do in the near future. So what Chelsea are thinking now, what Gallagher's done at the moment, he's underpaid. However, what is he going to do for the club? Is he going to be a starter? Because if he is, 150k, not an issue. They will pay that. However, I don't think Chelsea view him as a starter in the long term. I think Chelsea view him as an impact sub. And then you need to ask, the impact sub wage. Well, Romeo Lavia is on 65k. Is that going to be acceptable for Conor Gallagher? I don't think so. Conor will want somewhere closer to the 100k mark or somewhere in and around that. And for me, I think he's within his right to ask for that kind of money. He has proven himself to be a Premier League footballer. And trust me, this career that they're in, it's only 10 to 15 years. So Donny needs to get paid. And the reality is, if he wants to get paid in the present, he might have to move on. But I really hope they meet a compromise. I hope it's an incentive-based contract like a lot of the other players again. Because I actually am coming around to the idea that I think Conor Gallagher is important to keep for culture. He's important to keep for player in the big games. You put him in there for the midfield battles to make sure he's a deterrent for the others. You put him in there for the games where you need a late runner. The way McTominay is now being used by Ten Hag, I think that is the way to use Conor Gallagher. Yesterday was a clear indication of what Gallagher's good at. Getting on the end of things when crosses come in, being in and around there, shooting properly. And what I've said on numerous occasions, if Conor Gallagher contributes with goals, around 10 to 12 goals from midfield, we can live with his deficiencies and adore his strength. The problem becomes when he doesn't score and contribute, then you're like, are his deficiencies good enough to keep him in this squad as a regular starter? That's the questions we need to ask. And we have to be objective. And I think I am being very objective. I know a lot of people don't like what I say. And honestly, I really don't care. I don't, because in my opinion, I'm correct in this situation. It's not coming from a hateful position. It's just coming from my football analysis. And this is my opinion. So Pape Daoung is a young international that I think he's Senegalese, if I'm not mistaken. And he's set to be joining Chelsea at this moment in time. But the deal has caused a lot of controversy. So in January, this player was pictured with Kendry Price at a Chelsea game. The notion was that he's going to be joining Chelsea. Then Fabrizio came out with some news, and so did Nazir Cancella, that at this moment he's going to be joining Strasbourg. He's 17, so when he turns 18, he's allowed to sign with a European club and join him officially. He's going to be there and he's going to join Strasbourg. However, he's been pictured in training with a bunch of Chelsea players. And for me, this is very interesting because at this moment in time, the geezer, he doesn't work for the club. Why is he training? Well, I've got the answer. So, from my understanding is, the kid at this moment in time is actively on trial. He has got to earn himself a contract at Strasbourg because this is what Fabrizio is saying. Fabrizio said he's going to stay at training with Chelsea, with the first team, and they're going to see how good he is. And they're going to understand the level of the player. And then in May and June, there'll be a decision made for him to go to Strasbourg. Let me just stop you right there. The fact that he's training as a free agent with Chelsea Football Club lets you know everything. The fact that he's already with the first team, this is a super talent. This is a kid that isn't just the average Premier League player. This is a player that's going to have a good, illustrious career at top flight football somewhere. Because to be 17 years old and the club to be making such exceptions for you, it's phenomenal. And the fact that the pathway is to go to Strasbourg is amazing. This is what you want to see. We have a multi-club system for a reason. I know Strasbourg's fans are upset about being our feeder club. However, they're getting hands on talents that they wouldn't have in the past. I think it's Bakwa is the right winger, the French one. He is absolutely amazing. They've got Angelo on loan. They've got Diarra. They've got Santos now going on loan there. They're getting talents that are so young that would have never went to Strasbourg. And genuinely, Strasbourg gone a little run. Strasbourg could realistically become a Conference League team, maybe a Europa League team. And that would be good for the organisation and the multi-club system of Chelsea. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope they develop. Just quick. The final piece of news, and I won't be talking about this a while because we've already rinsed the hell out of this story. Enzo Fernandez is staying at Chelsea Football Club. Enzo yesterday after a winner, he spoke to ESPN Argentina and he said what? He said, I don't know where the rumors came. They started at social media. I want to stay. As long as the club want me to stay, I am going to be here. And that is a statement from a man that wants to stay. Look, guys, we need to understand that this player is under contract for 9 years. 9.5 years. That is essentially his career. He's going to get a pay rise in maybe 3 years' time, and then he's going to be stuck at the club for the foreseeable future. He's right. Unless Chelsea want to get rid of him, it's going to be very difficult for him to leave. But he's a phenomenal player. He is a player that we love. He's a player that we cherish, and he's got 7 goals this year already from midfield, playing out of position and not doing a role that he's good at. I don't think he's good at being the advanced state. I'm sorry, it's just not for me. However, I'm very happy that he is contributing with goals and assists, and more importantly, he's shutting a lot of people up. Because what really annoys me is, I don't think he had a great game yesterday, but he got a goal and all of a sudden the whole narrative on him changed. Tells me a lot about people's attention spans and how they actually watch the games. Like, they genuinely look at the stat sheet, a lot of people. But we don't do that here on the Kavkas View. We're an educated crowd. We're a crowd that analyzes the games. We're going to the details. And we don't speak with agenda. Because if I had an agenda, I would have been saying, Enzo's amazing. He had a great game yesterday. He didn't. I think he had a poor game yesterday by his standards. He should be doing a little bit better, but it is what it is. Guys, hit the like button. I hope you lot enjoyed it. Go over there and check the video out regarding how Chelsea have spent the £731 million since Winstanley has taken over, and whether I think how many of these players have been good signings or if I'd go back on. Let me know your thoughts over there and let me know your thoughts over here. Peace out. Have a lovely day.